Hi, my name's Sarah and I'm going to talk about multi-source feedback and multi-trainer reports today. Multi-source feedback is a report which is aimed to collect feedback of your peers, and it's used in your ARCP for your sign-off. So it's to give a gauge of how you're getting on and just generic feedback that your trainer then uses as part of your ARCP report. So they do differ slightly, the MSF and the multi-trainer report. And the multi-trainer report is generated by your supervisor, whereas the multi-source feedback, or the MSF, is generated by yourself. So you generate it whenever you feel ready within that placement that you've got enough people that could give you feedback. So you need 12 responses in total, and you need to complete one per ARCP. So that generally is one a year. With the caveat being, for your novice, be it your novice or your OBS novice, you need an MSF specific to that placement. And for any ICU placement that you undertake, you also need a separate MSF. Now, that can mean as part of your CT 1 year, for example, that you end up having to do 2 MSF reports. If you're unsure, just ask your educational supervisor and they should know what MSF you should be getting that year. Equally, you're never going to get penalised for doing too many MSFs. They are useful feedback. As I said, you need 12 responses. I'd aim to send them to about 20 people. And they should be a mix of different staff. So consultants, trainees, that can be from other specialties. So we obviously work alongside surgeons and obstetricians and paediatricians as well. ODPs, scrub and support staff, receptionists, porters, essentially whoever you think will give you nice feedback, I would send it to. Probably wouldn't send it to people that are likely to give you negative feedback. And it can't just be 12 people that are the same level as you that you never work with. Often the non-medical professionals have a slightly lower response rate. So it's definitely worth sending to more people than you expect. To get about 12 responses, you probably need to be sending it to 20 or 30 people. So this is obviously the LLP. We scroll down to the development tab and we click multi-source feedback. So we will generate a new MSF. So you go into the top right-hand corner and click Create New MSF. So on this page, you can add a title. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but this is for future reference to yourself. So we'll call this one CT or Novice. That would be the first MSF that you would generate. Then you can add a description. It's completely optional, but you could add where your placement was held, or anything fancy really. And then you click Create MSF in the bottom left-hand corner. So here is your MSF. It's created at the moment. So at the top, you've got who your educational supervisor is, when it started, and your description. You can obviously update that information by clicking this button here. Then you've got where you add your participants to. So I'll come back to that in a second. At the bottom here, you've got how many people you've already added to the MSF. So invite sent is how many people you've sent an invite to. Completed is how many people have actually given you a response. And invites not sent is people that you have added but not yet actually sent it to. So you've got 2 options to add people to your MSF. The first one, add new participants on the left, is for people that exist on the RCOA LLP. So that will be your anaesthetic consultant and trainers and other anaesthetic trainees that use the LLP. So not all of the ACCS trainees use the LLP. And then over here, you've got guest participants, and that will be all non-anaesthetic doctors, and it will be all of the support staff, so ODPs, nurse, receptionists, porters, etc. So we'll start by going through how to add someone that already exists on the LLP. So you click Add Participants, and you search for someone. So at the bottom, they will have a list of people that may have completed things for you before. So this might be people that have done SLEs or your educational supervisor, and they'll also have on the right your educational supervisor and clinical supervisors that are listed as per the LLP. So you can select those quite easily just by clicking select. You can then just continue to search for people. So we'll search for me on here. And because I'm a user of the LLP, I pop up like that. This can be quite useful if you, for example, know the surname of your consultant, but you don't necessarily or can't quite remember the first name, because obviously that pops up as a reminder. So then once you've added as many people as you like via this method to your MSF, you click Add Participants to MSF. And that will automatically list them here. So here you've got the name of the participant, what grade they are, where they work, whether or not you've actually sent them an invite yet, and the dates that you added them. You've got the option to remove them, and you've got a bit more information about the person that you've added. Right over here on the right hand side is an option to send a feedback reminder. So you can send a new reminder every 24 hours. And it is useful if you're going to add people to the MSF to actually tell them in person that you're going to do it, which is why collecting emails for guest participants can actually probably increase your chances of getting a response. But you can use this option if people are being a little bit slow at replying. So now we'll add some guest participants. So guest participants, you need a bit more information for. So these are obviously people that aren't automatically generated on the LLP. So you need a name. The type is just what position they are for your own reference. This is an optional box, and you just can, as long as you put something in the box, it will just let you get past it. And then obviously you need an email address. So we can fill it in. You can just click dot and then obviously just click their email. And you can add as many people as you like at once. You can add another row. You can remove rows like so. And then you click add guest participants. Once you're happy that you have got enough people on here to start sending invites, you scroll down to the bottom and you say open MSF and send invites. So once we're happy that we've got enough people that have completed your MSF, and remember you can use this button on the right hand side to send a reminder, and if you are worried you haven't got enough people that have responded, you can always add new participants at any time. Once you're happy though that here you've got 12, you click request closure. And that will send all of the feedback that has been submitted directly to your supervisor. Your supervisor will then have a look over your feedback. If they're happy that it's positive enough, they will close the MSF and the feedback will all get sent back to you. Until your supervisor has actually clicked close MSF on their side, it doesn't count as it being closed and it cannot be seen on your LLP, which means it can't be seen by the ARCP board. So do just make sure that they close it their end. They can look through the feedback and think that it's all sorted, but they need to click a button on the supervising portfolio to actually get it sent back to you. So this page will tell you exactly when you closed it and exactly when you opened it. So to go back, you click the Learning tab, and then under the Development tab, Multi-Source Feedback, you will, once it has been fully closed and the supervisor their end has closed it, you will just be able to click it, and on this page would be all of your lovely feedback. So that's everything I need to talk about for MSF. So we'll now go on to talk about a multiple trainer report, which is also known as an MTR. So this is also feedback, but it differs slightly to the MSF in that it is much more detailed feedback, which comes directly from anaesthetic consultants. So you normally need 3 responses. But I'd probably advise sending it to about 5, and it's something that you cannot generate your end. So once you feel that you have built up enough rapport with a number of consultants that you might have done a few lists with, obviously ask them, say that you want to send them an MTR, and if they're happy, you give those names of those consultants to your supervisor, and they will send out the feedback form from their side. As I said, it is a little bit more detailed, so do make sure you get permission. Once they have all replied and your supervisor have received 3 responses, they again close at their side and send the feedback to you so you can see it. You need to complete 1 MTR report per ARCP. So, but you will also need an MTR for your novice, and you'll need an MTR for your obs novice. I don't think at the moment they actually require one for intensive care. So that one for novice would count as your one for CT1, and the one for obs novice would count as your CT2 or CT3. So unlike MSF, where you need a separate one per little block, so where you might end up doing more than one a year, MTR, your one for novice would count as your one for CT1, which just reduces the amount you need to do. Once it's been completed, if you want to go see it, you go under the development tab on the home page, you click multiple trainer report, and you will be brought to this page. At the top is a way to filter. So obviously, if you're further through your anaesthetic training and you've ended up having quite a lot of MTRs over time, you can filter by year just to help find them a bit easier. Obviously, we've only got one on here at the moment, so this will tell you when it was generated, when it was completed, and whether or not it's signed off. To see it, you click view, and it brings you through to this page. And it tells you your feedback. So there are 4 different things that they comment on, and there are obviously multiple different blocks that they talk about. So the East Midlands trainer is doing very well here. They've got lots of outstanding practice response, a few satisfactory. They've got 1 area for development, which is research and managing data. And there's obviously a few things that their trainers haven't been able to comment on. So presumably this trainer hasn't worked with them in intensive care. This trainer might not have seen them give any sedation. At the bottom, they talk about whether or not you're making satisfactory progress for your level. And then there's 3 box comments that are also completed. So this trainee has got some nice feedback in all the different areas. And at the bottom, it tells you how many people actually completed it. And that's obviously you can close. Oh, what's the title? And that is it for your MTR. Now, your MTR can be linked to specific halos. So, for example, your novice for your IAC needs to be linked to your MTR. That is done directly through the halo. So I'm not going to talk about it right now because it's going to be covered in our halo video. So that now brings us to an end of the MSF and MTR video. We would be grateful for any feedback using this barcode just to help us improve any future videos. Thank you for watching.